Bing, here we are. It's Friday afternoon. It's time for the AsyncVoter meeting on its new 2-weekly schedule, although, just chaos has meant I'm not sure how long it is since we had a meeting. But yeah, Sam, Powell, and Michael and Brent here. I was going to say, the voter hasn't been used so much recently, but then actually, just in the last week, it has been used a few times. I mean, it continues to work, which is nice. It would be. I'm hoping I'll have a week-long focus on the AsyncVoter at some point, so we can even get it to that point where it's a sellable product. We'll see. I haven't looked at it for a while. I think when we last did a few things, Brent, it felt very productive to me. A few sessions where just you and I connected. You'd done some work, and I merged great pull requests that you had done.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. That's my recollection as well.
Are we? I guess the immediate question is there stuff outstanding? Like, you had been doing some lovely tidying up of things. I'm kind of confused, or don't remember where we are kind of up to. I mean, I think we had done this. We've done this. We'd previously, and this was how Michael got this round trip of getting the data so that it gets stored into this RESTful API thing that we've got wrapping a Mongo database. And we also then finally, with Michael's help, got the tests working. And then I think, Brendan Paolo, you had a plan to pair on refactoring some code so that it didn't mention Mongo explicitly. I guess you didn't manage to get to that quite yet.
We did have some pairing sessions, but we did other stuff, I think, if I recall correctly. We started to look at the React front end, I think.
Oh, yes. Right. Of course. Yes. Go on.
Sorry, Paolo, what was you going to say?
No. I was saying exactly that. We didn't get very far with the React, but we both thought it would be fun to learn some React and play with it a little bit. It's actually quite simple at the moment, so we could consider discussing a little bit how that should be improved, maybe to set a few specific tasks for us.
Yeah.
But we can discuss any topic.
Yes.
Yeah, I did make some changes to the React front end, but I can't remember what they were now. Just looking through the done.
And I think, do we maybe not have the React front end deployed anywhere yet? Or we've just been running it locally?
I think it's just locally, yeah. Oh, that's right. I corrected the URL, so it was using the our new Doku instance.
Right.
And I made some changes to that. I'm just looking through the list now of what I did.
I think I found the waffle now. Okay. I don't know if that's the right. We've got that about there.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at the moment, Sam.
Can I tell from? Well, let's click through on this one. So we've got one there with a pull request. Let's have a look at that. Right. So this is we've got the Slack command. Right. So this is the thing I think that we've got currently deployed to staging. This was sort of Paolo's work on having the main Slack command system use the client that Brent had created.
Yep.
And so this was the one, that was where it mentions MongoDB here, but anyway, that's my pet peeve. But yeah, so there was so things that could be done would be refactoring on that pull request, and then we merge it in and we actually push it out to production. You could argue that it should be just pushed. We could make a refactoring. We could push it out, make a refactoring ticket. What the order we do that in? Push main code to production. This is push specifically the client hookup. This is the API client hookup for code to production activity.
There's a couple of I've got my own personal to-do list, and I've got some stories outstanding to add the ability to mark stories revealed.
Right.
Handle the tests that hit the network was listed. Add CI to async API.
Yeah.
Unit test to check API failure modes. Yeah, that was my list of stuff I was going to work on.
Right.
But,
so we've got these four. These are the four main repos.
Yeah.
There then. So the main action on the. I don't know what order have I got them in. Yeah. So the main action on the for the main Slack thing is very much this connecting up to the remote API. So it also stores stuff, and then we've got the API itself. So yeah, we've got like there's little bits and pieces and things. There's like simple changes there if people want to work on that. Are all of your in the things that are your personal to-do list, Brent? Are they also issues in each of the relevant repos?
Oh yeah, they're actual issues. Yeah, I'm not. I'm working off of Waffle, but I'm not seeing that one. Some of those in Waffle, I don't know why.
Yeah, it's conceivable that Waffle is not necessarily pulling from all of the. Where's my Waffle board is there?
Just look at, so it's pulling from AsyncVoter Slack command, AsyncVoter API, AsyncVoter API client, and Async React UI.
So it looks like the client one is not. I think the client repo is not in there, and we've got AsyncVoter Slack bot, and I think this was like my previous version that used a bot rather than a / command.
That's really bizarre. I'm looking at the same screen that you're looking at, and I've got a different list of connected repos.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's very strange.
Yeah, if I do share my screen.
Yeah, yours is correct.
I've got a different list. That's weird.
Yeah, I guess. Now your Waffle. So I think the problem, what I've done is I've gone to like an older Waffle that I shouldn't have done. Like I've got, I'm going in via AsyncVoter API, and what I should have done here is have in by Slack command like that. And so, yeah, there's maybe like anyway. So if we look in here, yeah, that's got the appropriate for.
Right. Okay. Thanks.
But you haven't got anything missing from you were saying there's then some things that are missing from the Waffle board that you would expect to see there.
Yeah, now they've appeared. That's really bizarre. Since I've moved off of the actual board into settings and then back. So, for example, this one wasn't shown before.
Right. Yeah. No, that may just be like there was like a brownout in the the connection between Waffle and GitHub. So, okay. All right. So yeah, I mean the things that I can immediately think to do now is I haven't run the front end for a very long time. It would be awesome to just, I don't know if I've even got it checked out locally, is just to run it and see the state of the world of it. Really would be super fun for me and maybe for anyone else. Particularly because we're all having so much fun in the React mob and so on. Let's go to Azure Ventures there, and we've got, this is the thing here. So I must have a version. Let's have a look. CD async. Gosh, CD async. No, maybe not. Or I've got AsyncVoter UI. Let's clone the latest one. Okay, clone. CD AsyncVoter React UI, and then what have we got here? Right, so presumably it's npm install, I guess.
Yeah.
And then I can do npm test there. Interesting. But what I'm almost thinking is I mean, I keep on going on about this refactoring of the thing for the Mongo. Is we could just do a quick mobbing now, if anybody's got any time to work on that pull request, that one outstanding pull request and get it merged in. That's obviously going to take a little while getting things down. But go on, Brent.
No, I was just agreeing with you. Yeah, that sounds like a plan.
Yeah, I mean, unless anybody else has any other questions about anything or concerns or blocks on things that they need help with.
No, go for it.
Yeah. So that's then in the AsyncVoter Slack command. I'm going to pop over to here. Let's maximize that. Drop out there, cd async Slack command, voter Slack command. So here, 57, store data in remote API. That is this. Yeah, so staging, git pull origin, that to make sure I've got the very latest. I have that, so we can code that. That gets it over here. That is still installing. Okay, they're there. On this one, I guess we can do npm test. Found 663 vulnerabilities. Goodness me. MB audited fix. Okay, so I'm trying to run the tests for that one. I guess here, this one, I probably should be up to date. No test found. Registered files changed since last commit. Run all tests. Test suite 02. Test run was interrupted.
Is that the React UI or the?
This is the React UI. This one here. Okay. I haven't. Oh, there we go. Ah, right. So it's got some passing and one problem, but I mean, are other people getting that? We may not have run the tests for quite a long time. Who knows?
I'll just try it on mine.
But presumably, I can do npm start here, and it will run locally. Did you like? Okay. Yes, run it on a different thing. Start the development server. Okay. And so, all right. There we go. Yeah, we have our AsyncVoter admin interface. Say vote 1, 2. Is that you add, and it says like votes there, and you can actually also vote through the interface. 1. Thanks for your vote.
Yeah, I'm not sure that actually works though.
No, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, cool. Oh, that's lovely to see that. Yeah, that's there. That's the dream of the whole microservices architecture. Yeah, so nice to see that running. Okay, so this was.
Yeah, I'm getting the same error as you.
So there was the
test. Yeah.
Yeah, so on the. Oh, it's interesting. Here has it. So I got
set state JSON parse res.text error.
So yeah, this is the failure I'm getting on the AsyncVoter Slack command. That branch. So we've got tests failing.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And then, oops, this is the test for the React interface. So sorry, were you saying you were getting the same failure on the React?
On the React one, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe if have you seen that one before, Brent? Is that a new thing, or it's?
I don't think I had seen it before, because I'm pretty sure that when Paolo and I looked at it, they were all green.
Yeah, well, I wonder if it's related to one of our servers being down or something. Yeah, I guess I'll just take that and open an issue on the React UI, like so. Test fail. Makes the server offline. Who knows? But I'm not so excited to dive into that right this second. I'm more interested in this sort of hanging pull request. Yeah. So are other people getting these same errors here? I guess I should check out staging at least.
I'm just pulling it down now.
Oh, and I seem to have some. No, I have some. It looks like I've got some changes. I've got at least. Oh, I've got like a well. I think I've just removed an only statement there. That seems okay.
Yeah, I have made some changes to the tests for. Oh no, not for the Slack command. Sorry, it was the. Which what's the branch? Is it 57?
Yeah, I think so. So I've got the staging. I should get full origin staging. The staging setup is currently green for me there. That's only a change in the README, so that should be fine. npm test. Okay, and then git checkout 57, git pull origin 57, and then npm test. So, right. Yeah, so at the moment, the way it's checked into the Slack command, is that the right place? No. Yes, it is actually. At the moment, we've got an only in there in that test.js. I think that was the one that we were fixing on. So just in the first instance, we should remove the only call in test.
Why is this not working? Underscore data.
Yeah, so are you unable to pull that down?
Yeah, I'm getting fatal. Couldn't find remote ref 57 underscore store underscore data in remote API.
Do you want to show us the sorry, I wasn't looking at your screen. You want to show the terminal?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
No problem at all. I was just, yeah, the thing I might be tempted to do there is to do git remote and check which one it's pointed to. So you've got like a Vardy B, your origin is Vardy B.
I need to do upstream data, that's why.
Yeah, I mean, I would do git fetch upstream and then git check out the name.
Yeah.
So I've just pushed it so it will run all the tests, and we're getting these. So AV API client update story is not a function. AsyncVoter 846. Gosh, close all. Let's work out where we are. We had those marathon debugging sessions, didn't we? Goodness. So where's all the code for this? Views public. Coverage, no modules public.
I'm getting errors.
AsyncVoter JS. Is that line 8? Line 8. I'm not sure I'm reading this right.
What versions of Node and NPM are you on?
So I'm on Node 9.5 here.
Okay, I'll try using that.
And NPM version 6.1. There's
So
at least.
Did you run npm install again? Is that what you did all this?
Not since I stashed it. So
it's failing?
Yeah, I'm getting these 3 errors. I mean, the interesting thing is running npm install, it seemed to give me various changes to the package lock JSON. I guess that would be for things that we haven't locked down.
Probably, but those tests, I think I wrote a lot of them. I don't think that they rely on an external service per se.
No, I wasn't suggesting that these ones are failing because of an external service. I was suggesting the ones from the React UI might be failing because it was because of the external thing. That was one of the things that Brent changed recently. No, So I was just going to search for these ones in here. So there's a point at which, okay, so maybe this is at least two of the we've got three failures. One is some kind of mismatch in like expected numbers or something. This one here, we've got like we're expecting the function update story to be available on the AV API client. And so I wonder if the version of the client has changed, or that
yeah, because there has been some changes to the client.
Right.
And
so is update story called update vote or something different now, or
I can double check. Hang on a second.
Right, so API client gets called in from there. Presumably in the which is the test that's called in? This is run single user multi-votes.
If you go down into the
Here we go.
packet node modules or whatever.
Yeah, it's update story size now. Is if you're using the latest version of the client.
Okay. So that would yeah, I was trying to look at where the test pulls in and where it creates the client. Make votes before clear choice and but that's the context test double voting by user. I can't see any mention of the client in the test. Oh, client. Huh. I'm just strangely blanking there on like we're exporting the async voter and we have to pass it the AV API client. So presumably, maybe that's not called in the tests. Maybe that's right. So this is. But are we passing in so index.js would not be run as part of the tests? Are we? It seems like the tests shouldn't be I don't see any reference to the client in the tests. I guess all the tests are actually okay. No, sorry. So the tests are all high-level tests. They're actually running the server, and so it's going to be, yeah, it's going to async vertical API client. Okay, sorry. So then, right, that's a change in the So that's now update story size.
Yes.
So
I'll just check if the parameters are the same.
yeah, and now everything passes. Wonderful. Yep. That's what I like to see.
Mine won't even install.
Yours won't install at the moment.
No, I've got the latest code down, and npm install is coming up with some errors I've never seen before.
What versions of Node and npm are you on?
I think I'm using. Let's have a look. So Node 8.94.
Yeah, so I'm on Node 9.4, so you could try getting onto that. I guess since these are all, and I'm getting I guess I sensibly check these all in. Git commit -am, npm updates, and new. What is it even called? This is now name for updating story size. Git push. Blah, blah, blah. So we've got the pull request there. So
okay.
Okay.
Oh, I've not got my Redis running. Ah, I don't think I've got Redis installed. That's why.
Ah.
Because it's a new Mac, isn't it?
Oh,
yeah. Okay, I'll need to install Redis.
So I'm going to try use. Oh no, refactoring is available. So I'm going to try and update this. So there's an interesting question about method naming here. So we've got this. It's add story to MongoDB, and we've got our client where we're creating story here. So. And this gets, what does it get called? It gets called here. I'm almost tempted to call this like remote create story or something like, what's the best? I mean, I could, for simplicity's sake, just name it as create story. And we're doing it on the client. I think I maybe just call it create story for transparency, really.
Because aren't we doing it to both the client and to Redis at the same time?
Yes, that's the
yeah.
In this thing, it stores it in Redis. Go on, Paolo.
This is done like in the middle of the Redis part. So when the Redis part succeeds completely, then we make a call to this. So
yes,
this function that we're about to rename only creates a new story on the remote DB. You could call it add story to remote DB or create remote story or something.
Well, yeah, we could add the. I mean, I guess the.
Why don't you say persist story remotely?
Yes, I guess I'm thinking about the fact that it's the the fact that it's being called on the client there. Yeah, persist story remotely seems like a. I think that's quite a good one. I mean, it's an interesting question about we've got it's. I'm almost tempted to do it persist story via API. I mean, it's the because the client itself. I mean, effectively, it's a wrapper, and then the same interface could wrap anything in the future and change in the future. I guess the intention.
Should it just be called add story? And
I mean, it feels like it should just be called persist story.
Yeah.
Because the create story is really going to a Redis thing, and it's not really persisting it per se. It's not like a persistence. There's like no guarantee of persistence. It's just a caching thing, really.
Right. I mean, what we've got at the moment is that we've got this endpoint, which is like a URL endpoint of, kind of command comes in, and at the moment we've got it. There's like we're calling repository delete repository set, and then we're saying it's like add story to MongoDB, but we don't know necessarily if it's a MongoDB down the line. So we're
persist story. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Persist story. I mean, it's an interesting question about does the let's go for persist story. So there, if I hit return there, will it? I wanted to do replace. Is it done replace? I'm not sure. Is it the replace preview? Is then there some additional step, which is to, there we go. I'll replace the occurrences, replace. Okay. So that's then, that now should be saying persist story. But then in principle, I can run the tests again and see that the refactoring has not broken the tests. Okay. So so we had add story to MongoDB, add vote to MongoDB. We can search for that. So then if we follow the same thing, it should be persist vote.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we've got send reveal to MongoDB. So then we've got persist reveal. Right. And then I think that's actually, so what that then means is that we avoid referring to Mongo anywhere in the system, although
Mongo UID key.
right. Now this is, so what's going on here? Let's remove that and
Yeah, maybe that should be something like API UID key or something.
right. So this is within persist story. So this is now,
I think this is what you're storing in Redis so that you can pull that back from
right. So this is the remote ID, like from whatever from we've basically got a client here that we can talk to, right? And so Mongo UID. So okay, so this just but so what is this persist story? The persist story is called OAuth post persist story. So we've got the the Redis repository there is, yeah, we sort of create our own all this, that, and the other. And but
can I step in and try?
Please, yeah, to talk us through, because you did all this code. Yeah, go on, Paolo.
So this is like creating an additional Redis key.
Yep.
Which will store, this is that line 23 only defines the key name, the key.
Right.
The value will be what the external API returns to us, and it is the Mongo ID key in this case. So it refers to the ID assigned to the story we're persisting on the external database. And so we're saving that, the external ID.
Yeah, so it's in fact, so it's these IDs, because when
yeah,
we...
I would say it must be IDs of the stories.
Yeah, yeah. So this is like when it gets stored through the REST interface, as it happens, Mongo is assigning it an ID. And
yes, we're saving this in Redis. So when we vote for something and we only know the Redis key, we can, by prepending this Mongo UID / basically later on, we can get back to this key and retrieve the Mongo ID, the external database ID
right.
story.
Yeah. So I mean, I might be tempted to call this instead, remote persistence ID. I mean, it's a bit long, but
do a global replace.
Yeah, I will do. I'm just thinking about what the
or remote ID.
Yeah, maybe just remote ID is fine. I mean, we call this persist. Yeah, remote ID. Remote ID is fine.
Or persisted ID, something like that.
Yeah. What was it? Oh no, don't do that. Oh no. Oh yeah. So let's get this Mongo. This. Excuse me. Oh,
Gesundheit.
Thank you. Ah.
Oh, British guys, sorry about the game.
Yeah.
I was rooting for you, my friends, but
nah, I know, so close. And yes, our Croatia played really well. All credit to them. I haven't slept properly the last 2 days for reliving the ridiculous game in my head. Just ridiculous. I've got to somehow get my mind off it. Oh well. Fortunately, most of Britain, I think Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland are all probably laughing at us. It's just the English, isn't it? Really. Mongo ID, persistence ID. To put another little hyphen in there.
Well,
go on, Michael.
I read that Trump has provided now distraction from that loss.
He's bombed Croatia, has he?
No.
Oh no! Oh right, that's no. No, sorry, go on.
He's provided distraction.
Oh yeah, well, no, I'm sure
England.
people can vent their bile on. Yeah, they can take out all their frustration. Like they can redirect it. Yes, I don't know. It's funny. As I was saying earlier, I think I saw his helicopter come in, as we were saying earlier on. Yeah, so let's try and persistence ID. Let's just. What's happening there? Why does that not let me?
Interesting. Yeah.
Search for it.
Ah, it does now.
There we go. 3 instances of that apparently, and then. No, don't do that. What are you doing? Let's search over here for this one. Mongo UID key. So we've got persistence UID key. Let's change it over. Okay, and so now no mentions of Mongo. Run the tests. Okay, so that's cool. What a productive week. Goodness. Okay. I think the funny, I have no idea actually what protests, if any, are going on about Trump in the UK, but I can't imagine that he would care. Do you know what I mean? Like, he seems, you know, he's very sure of himself. So why would he care if people in Britain, if some people, because obviously some people in Britain like him, I'm sure. Why? I can't imagine anybody thinking it would have any impact on him. But there you go.
Well, there's a baby orange Trump blimp floating outside of the British Parliament.
Is there?
Yeah, people were parading it through the streets.
I imagine he'll take it as a compliment.
I suppose so, if you like being portrayed as someone in a diaper.
Oh, right. Oh, I thought just baby, like, well, it sort of depends, yeah. I mean, but it's like, I think with the North Korea thing, it's like he didn't actually extract any concessions, but he declared it as a massive victory. And I'm sure he'll find a way to see it as a, you know, anything that presents it as negative, that's obviously fake news. So there you go. Right. So we've definitely renamed the functions. Get a hand. So this was the thing. As the logging improved, and then I guess then we've got a question about what's happening with the tests. So anyway, at least I've overcome my issues with that. So if we look back to this thing, so it's basically the same as it was before, but now we have the persist story, and we have that set of functions there, all at the top of the. So we've got persist story, followed by persist vote, followed by persist reveal. Right. And I guess I wonder a little further refactoring. Can we move these functions? These seem like a natural thing to move out into a separate file. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
But can we easily do that? And then we've got the whole question about, you know, to what extent, why did I mention adding tests? We've got the current tests pass. I guess at the moment, the way this is working, and if anybody can remember, is the way that the test is working is that we've got it so that at the moment we've got this dummy API test endpoint. And so the fact the test is passing here, we're not checking that we're necessarily sending the right thing per se to this endpoint. We're just we're doing that thing, and the fact that it hasn't blown up mean that it's kind of gone through. But we haven't, I think, explicitly in the tests. I mean, they're for like, so we run a voting session. So these are all sort of checking that, you know, when we post commands, we get the appropriate responses, right?
Mm-hmm.
So post an action, we get a response. None of this are checking per se that the correct data has ended up on the like the API test server, which is where we sort of expect that it would end up.
But should we be testing that? Because they're the tests that the client does. So should we be checking the response from the client, maybe?
Yeah, that would make perhaps more sense. I mean, it's all this question about at what level do you know, what level do you stub, kind of thing. I mean, you know, one could have like a complete round test where you actually reach out to the API test server and check that the thing that you expect to be there is there. That would be like the whole hog and relies on the API test server being up. We could check that at the network level, that something's being sent out to the API test server and it's in the right form. Yeah, or we could be checking, as you say, Brent. Well, we could be checking just that that there is a call to. We could just check that the API client is being called with this method with the right things, and then, or we could do a quick check that it gets the right response.
Yeah.
I guess,
Sam,
go on.
Sam, yeah, if the actual external database is not up and the API client will not like return a proper ID assigned by the external database. So anything like adding a vote or flagging, revealing won't actually work unless we go through, we actually get ID back or hack that part so that we can fake a returned ID from the external database.
Right. Yes.
So would you test it at like? I mean, if the data, what do we know about? I mean, we don't have any guarantees about it trying to like persist if the API is offline, right?
No, and that's partly why we're still having it storing it in the Redis.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think what I'm tempted to do right now is just see if I've got like like my way my emotional energy is going. I'd love to see if I can just move this out into another area and put off that issue about exactly where we test it. I mean, I'm starting to come. Maybe I'm waking up from a strange dream, but you know, I was so like, oh yes, let's test at this level, test at that level, and so on. It's starting to feel like a light touch is the way to go. I think particularly with Node, maybe something that Brent was referring to there is like we've got separate tests for the API client. So it feels, I guess the confusing thing is that these tests are top level tests where it's treating the system as a black box. So we can't check easily that, for example, the API client has been called with a certain method. I'd know how to do that in there's ways to do it if we were using like RSpec and so on, even with Cucumber. But
It's not that difficult, is it? Isn't it just a spy?
yeah, but I know it's one of the things that we've tied ourselves in knots around.
But I mean, the risk really is that if we don't check it right, we could be configuring it wrong or something. Or
that's right. But I guess it's what I'm thinking is probably perhaps the easier route is to, because like, given that we're still storing it in the Redis, you know, we can sort of add this functionality a bit in the same way that we're adding the events functionality to local support, and just sort of push it out there and sort of see what happens. I think I don't want to make a decision right now about which level to test on. I mean, because again, you've got this tension between, like, you don't want to make the testing harness too tight because it ends up sort of them making it more effort to change things later on. And I'm quite liking this setup where we have control over, you know, we can just have this test server on. I think also what Paolo was sort of referring to there is there's this like multi-sequence step, but I guess I don't know that any of these tests would they fail if that remote server was down.
Well, we could try changing the remote server URL, couldn't we?
Yeah, and see what happens, couldn't we? Yeah.
I think the way I inserted those calls to whatever persist story, persist vote, and reveal, persist reveal, where so they would only take place once all the Redis part had succeeded. So in the inner loop, in the last then or whatever. So if they fail, it shouldn't matter to the Redis part. The Redis part should have done its bit. Yeah,
absolutely. No, and that all makes sense, and that's, I think, it's good design. Interestingly here, so methods are parsing 3. This is single user persistence, begin a voting session before it. Like, so if I change the thing to be not there, it's like it can't get the address info. I mean, I could do the other one. What I'm more wondering here is not so much about the code, Paolo, which I think it all makes sense that it's doing what you say. It's just whether the test themselves is doing that multi-step process, because there's that. Excuse me. Let's just run it with like that. So the tests themselves. So when this runs a voting session, like this, like will do around like this command here. It will. I think this will like. Will that? Yeah. That kind of creates the like starts a vote. But so it gets to here and then it's kind of done. It doesn't do that, and that's fine. It's like one thing. It doesn't do the thing that you were referring to, Paolo. When so here, like we have to reuse the persistence ID. So we've got our persistence ID, and then subsequently when we want to update it, right, which is
like persist vote,
right. But so I don't know if the tests both. If any of the individual tests both create a story and then also vote on it. Maybe they do. And so this is run a voting session. So at least this one here, they do. Thanks, Michael. So this one here just starts a vote. And then this one here, so this records a vote. So does this, but this is like, this is kind of, does this, so like this one here, record a vote. It's posting actions. It's just checking that it doesn't both create a story and then record a vote about it, does it?
And where does it, which story does it add a vote to?
Well, I think here you see like in this one, when it's doing it posts to actions and it sends a payload and it has, you know, things like the original message and this, that, and the other. It's kind of, it's simulating what Slack would send to the Slack command app.
Okay, so feature
if
one.
If a story had been created, but there's no guarantee that this.
Go up to the top. Go up to. Is there like a before on all this?
This one is just like it flushes there. So, but let's. I mean, I think there are more sophisticated ones further down. So we've got one here, and then so here this is reveal the results. So I think this is just. It's not checking that. You can sort of create a story and then vote on that story per se. It's just checking that if you submit this kind of data, I mean, conceivably, if the Redis thing fails, we don't have anything to make it blow up, right? If this is trying to vote on a story that doesn't technically exist. I mean, I don't even know if the Redis cache is being refreshed in between these operations, and maybe it's dependent on them going in the right sequence. But so then run single user multi-votes. So this one, now this one, okay, so this one I think was referring to, Michael, it's got a before done. So this before the test runs, it sets up a vote, and then we've got a sort of a helper method called make vote, and then we've got it nested. So it comes in, it makes one vote, and then another vote, and another vote. So yeah, so we do have tests that are doing this sequence. And so would that then, so that would initially run the persist story. So that would then set that persistence key. And then, so when it tried to persist the vote, it would come in and it would try and get that back. But so I guess this is the thing here is like, so even if that thing didn't exist, or the, well, I guess it's going to get off the Redis thing. Like, I guess you've got it all set up, Paolo, so that when it does this create vote operation, it's assuming that it's stored something previously in terms of the persistence key. But we've kind of got all of the errors are handled.
Can you go up a little bit when we presumably when we create the story here?
Yeah.
This will fail. So either we go through the error at 27, or we have, yeah, that's probably what we expect to happen. Do we get a console log error, or?
So I just ran it now with like adding this thing here. So like in principle, it wouldn't be storing effectively, and nothing fails in that situation. But so I think that's like presumably, like, when we've got at least that one test that will start. There are tests in there that will try to persist votes on stories that presumably don't exist. Like it would, I mean, and unless it may well be. I just don't know what's happening with Redis if Redis is being refreshed between each run. So, like the tests obviously have been run time and time again with the same channel ID and the same text here. So presumably, if I'm not refreshing Redis, then actually it's kind of irrelevant. It wouldn't generate any error because, like previously, when the story had been persisted.
No, actually, it will remove it at line 29. So
but
basically,
but only if it encounters an error.
Yeah, which I thought that was okay. Now, if it doesn't encounter errors, then it will get a new Mongo ID, persistence ID from the external database each time the test is run. I guess we're adding new ones, so it would override the previous key, which would still be the same key.
Yeah.
But if it fails to get a new UID from the external database, then it explicitly deletes the key if there is like an old key there, because the next votes will be for the new instance with the same name, and so to avoid adding new votes to the old whatever.
But yeah, go on, Michael.
I believe the tests flush the Redis.
You think they do?
Yes, if you look in the befores, it flushes them.
Right, we've got a flush DB thing. Okay.
I think that's intended to flush out the Redis.
Right.
Caches in between each.
That would make sense. But so then, in principle, I mean, we might expect, having changed this so that we now. I mean, I guess then we've also got the question of, have I got AsyncVoter API path already set on my... I mean, we saw that when I changed this to .uk here, it kind of failed. So that implies that I don't have that on there, and so it's going to use that. Fair enough. This would mean it should just get, like, not found things.
404 error, shouldn't it?
Yeah, like if we go there, it's going to append stuff onto the end of it. I'll just put that in a different window. Yeah, it just comes back. It's not 404, but it says it cannot get. It comes up with, what is the? I wonder what's the network? Oh yeah, it's a 404. So it gives a 404. Although I don't know if that will necessarily generate an error here, but conceivably. But so if it was trying to do the create story operation, it would, you know, we will see this.
You should see that log at 28.
Right, and we don't
you-
see that at the moment, but that may be due to the.
You could add a little string before the error message, like error creating story or something, so that at least we would see that.
Yep. I mean, but also, console log create story. I mean, we've got a series of.
You need a plus, don't you? Otherwise,
I will do, yeah. I'm just saying, we do have like some logs coming through in different parts of the things. Put a plus there, as you say, and maybe just go onto the test and say. So let's for simplicity's sake, let's focus on just starting a voting session. So if we then run the tests for that one, so we get persist story is logged. That's the test. This is the thing here. Where would we see persist story? Oh, we see that down here. Yeah, so it's getting to here. It's doing the console log of that. Then it's running persist story. So then we come to persist story. It comes through. We presume it gets there. We don't see this.
So can you go back to the code? Does that mean the API client never actually calls the callback?
Maybe so. I mean, we can just put here, this is, if I put this, so yeah, so it gets to here, and then, yeah, it seems like in this case, yeah, the callback is not called. And if we change, if we change this back to the correct thing, oh God. Let's see. Yeah, even with the correct, so.
Doesn't make sense.
No. So we're getting to there. Yeah, I mean, both pathways in this, unless it should have been that didn't have a slash originally. That was one of the problems actually that we think we saw. Let's see with this. Okay, so we're getting before and after, but yeah, we're getting at the moment from running that, nothing from in here.
So I guess we should look inside the API client, maybe create story and see how that could be happening.
Yeah, and so I guess we've got the node modules, what's the, it should be under
AsyncVoter. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. So I have been in there before. I mean, I was sort of, yeah, so I had been in here. So this is create story here. I've been running all of this. From the, yeah, so it gets in there. Gosh, and I really want to run it from the command line so I can just inspect all of that stuff. Let's have a breakpoint there.
Yeah, I need to jump off, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Good to see you,
Catch
Brent.
you all later. Yeah, speak to you later. Cheers.
Yeah, bye, Frank.
Cheers. Bye.
Can I run? Okay, we get to there. So can I see what the story is? You don't want to tell me? Let's step over. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, gosh. I'm in there again this time. Okay, can I step over? Oh, say story. All right, there we go. So that's the test. We're putting /stories onto it so I can see the URL.
Now this will be a callback itself, so it's probably not, this callback is not being called, this function.
Conceivably, yeah. So we're getting to here with the appropriate URL, the args that we maybe expect. That looks sort of all right. But so I'll put that in both, inside both those. Can I continue? Yeah, that seems like the, yeah, that was,
you have to like do something with the callbacks. I'm trying to think.
but so I think it's funny because we were definitely hitting this previously. It seems like there that neither of these points got called.
Can it just be because it's moving too fast, like the. So the thing that you're calling it from.
Well, I guess we might have the issue that,
You're not, like,
yeah,
waiting.
we're not waiting for it to return.
So isn't that a problem?
Well, it depends. Again, it comes back to this issue of, do we want the test to be waiting around and checking for that to happen? Yeah, I mean, it certainly seems like it could easily be that. Now, the tests that we were adjusting before, Michael, that where we had it like wait and so on, were not part of this, or were they? We've got done. That thing where we were sort of like holding the thing open, that was all in the tests for the client itself, wasn't it?
I think maybe.
No, I think the keep open was part of search for keep open.
Yeah.
But I think it's in the Slack command.
No, we do. But so specifically for this one test, but not for the other ones. Oh, no, and this is the one that I've got the only on. Yeah, so this is the one that we were looking at last time. Yeah, and we do have keep open there. Interesting.
No, but I think isn't that for like ending early with chai? I don't know.
I mean, I'll just, yeah, I don't, my memory, I think, yeah, there's no keep open in the client code. Yeah, I think it makes sense to me that this is the one that we were looking at previously, and we had that problem that in the client, it just wasn't waiting around long enough for this. And I guess we've got that same problem again. But that was the keep open thing that was what we thought fixed it last time, so that it would.
But that's so that we can make, like, I don't know, I forget. It's been so long.
No, I know. Yeah, I forget. My memory is, I mean, we've got all of the this is, my breakpoints are still there from this. I think that's what we were seeing previously, is that we were getting to here and we weren't getting, it wasn't sticking around long enough for the callback to actually do it. And my sense is that with that keep open, we had finally got it working, but maybe there's some like little minor change or other this, that, and the other. But probably as they stand, the automated tests are not like a fantastic test of whether the thing is, really talking to the remote server or not. And I don't have huge energy to dive further into it today, I would say. Yeah. I still want to kind of. This general thing in my mind of can we at least just take. Should I leave it there for today? Yeah, I think I will. Yeah. So I guess there's more. I'm kind of right up there. If we come back over here. There. So. Let's edit that. So I think that's improved. I don't know. I guess the we've got like here. It seems like the existing tests may not be holding the system open long enough to get the return from the remote server we thought we had fixed before with keep open. We could just quickly look up. We go try keep open. Wow.
You go to the try readme right there.
Oh, okay, here we go.
And then
yeah.
right. I mean, that seems to be for multiple requests. I don't know.
Right.
I'm not sure. Did we ever make multiple requests?
We do. We've got some other tests where we
Within
make
that, but not in that test.
No, but I think what we had done previously is we'd used this to have it, you know, to like explicitly shut the thing down after a later
Right, but what I'm saying is if inside the app itself it's not waiting for that callback to be finished.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's nothing that forces. So how a callback works in JavaScript is it just like sets it
yeah,
aside,
and it will come back in later.
Runs, yeah.
So potentially, if the test servers weren't running slightly slower now, it would just not.
If the test server, or if like basically just the main thread, where it gets to where it like sends a response, the web service, our Slack command web service, does that before the DB, before the external source does anything, then it's like it's not gonna. Yeah,
because this is basically it's going to wait for the response here. It's going to do all this checking, and then I guess is it request? We've got request. Yeah, so we keep it open and then we shut it down at this point. But yeah, there's no guarantee.
Because what's going to happen, right, is that end is a response from the web server.
This end is a response from the local web server,
which
it's not going to block on the callback.
It's not synchronized with the callback.
No, absolutely not.
So that's the issue.
Yeah, and so, but you know, by adding this previously, we maybe got it to hang around a little bit longer. But it's not guaranteed, and that's why we maybe saw it work 1 or 2 times, and we were like, "Yay, it's so great!" And then, but yeah, it certainly doesn't guarantee that that comes back. And then, so yeah, we've got the question of: do we want this to be operating such that we ensure that we get back the correct thing from the remote server? I guess it feels like the reality of it is that we should just, if we do anything at all, is just check that we call the right thing. But actually, with this style of test, I guess even with this test, we can set up a spy, as you were saying before, Michael, and sort of spy on the async voter and check that create vote is called.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And make that one of the conditions for closing out the
Right. That's a good point.
test.
Yeah, we could basically have it.
So there'd be like two one of the variables would be like that thing has been called, and
Right.
until that thing is called, it doesn't close, or it
We
just
could have it on a kind of
out.
On a busy wait.
Yeah, that would force it. That would force the test apparatus, but that's kind of kludgy because you're
waiting for some remote server.
You're getting around. You're getting around. Basically, you're getting around nodes.
Non-blocking
Node
nature.
doesn't want you to block. Yeah.
But seems like that won't guarantee we wait until there is a response from the remote server. We could block on well, I mean, even then, if we had a spy and we checked that it was cooled, even having it cooled doesn't mean that, and we could block until it was cooled. But if we then shut down the server, you know, there's no guarantee that it will wait long enough for the response to come through from the thing. We could block on having cooled the API client.
Or we could have it block on calling back the callback.
Right. We could ask
somehow spy on the callback.
Right. But even then, I'm
not sure how to spy on the callback.
Yeah, we will keep the server up for long enough. Perhaps we could spy on callback. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's leaning towards like when it gets sufficiently complex to do the test, like particularly for something it's like, you know, no one's giving us like $1 million to make sure that this perfectly works. You know, it's like, it feels like, yeah, maybe we need to get it out and get it into use. You know what I mean? Like it's so easy to test it manually. You know, already if we spend, you know, if you spend like 3 hours trying to get automated, we've already spent at least 3 hours, if not more, in the past, thinking about this particular sort of test corner case, as it were, or particular test case. If you think about the number of times that we could test it manually in that 3 hours, which is about, oh, I don't know. I mean, it takes about 3 seconds to test it manually, 3 or 4. That's like 5 seconds to test it manually. That's what are there? That's 2 times 10. It's 12 times in a minute. 12 times 60 times 3 is 180 times 12. Let's say that's at least 2,000 times. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and if you make this, well, like another 3 hours work, we might have it in a reliable sort of testing setup.
Well,
you know, like maybe we only need like 100 manual testings. It doesn't. Apart from an academic exercise to say, you know, is it interesting to see if we can test it? It doesn't necessarily justify it in terms of getting stuff released. Sorry, go on.
I said the counter argument is that people don't like to do repetitive things, and so they tend not to do them.
Oh, indeed so. But
they tend not to actually manually test.
Oh, absolutely. Well. But that's true. At the same time, there's like, if we have it out, like every time it's being used, it gets kind of tested. It's like, and it's not like, I mean, it goes down sometimes anyway, right? So I think we're already in a situation where you can say that through the natural course of using it, it's tested sufficiently, if you know what I mean.
Sure. Is there a reason it goes down all the time?
Not all the time. It goes on occasionally. Like there are just sort of like, I think, brownouts with the slash command. I mean, it's gone out a few times and we haven't been sure why, and we've restarted and it's come back up. And again, I think it comes back to this, you know, like sometimes I think with the testing things, it's like, are we over engineering like the level of testing precision that we need given the state of the thing, given that we have kind of, and particularly in as much as, even if it did, you got to think about what's the worst case that happens here is that, I mean, it's still sort of, if it fails to persist it remotely, right, it's not going to actually break the current experience, right? Because we're kind of, you know, like...
Right, but that also means that it probably won't get caught.
Indeed. But at the moment, it's not... Part of the thing is to sort of put it out and have it there, right? We're already persisting it in the Redis cache. And so this is like adding this thing. And then, you know, it's like... I guess I'm arguing for... I don't think we need to, like, wait to have a perfect testing thing to get this out to start having it, and then just actually looking at it to see, is it working?
No, I think we should.
Yeah.
I think we can push it out without that test, but
yeah. So no, anyway, I'm glad to have done that refactoring. And I've run out of energy now for that other thing, but I was going to put the would be nice to like let's put in here to say move the persistence code.
I have to go.
Yep, cool.
Bye.
Good to see you, Michael. Bye for now.
Yeah, bye, Michael.
Move persistence code into another file. Yeah, well, I think I might just turn off the broadcast there.